Welcome to the Sprinkled with Hope podcast.
This is Jason. And this is Shane.
And it's podcast time.
Welcome to Sprinkle with Hope podcast with your host, Jason. And today, Shane and I are going to talk about something that we really enjoy talking about, and that is creating memories with your family, your loved ones, whoever it is, and kind of how you do that. So kicking us off today with a quote. I know you guys love those. So Dr. Seuss, who was a child's author who wrote children's books here in the U.S., he said, "Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory." And I thought that was a good way to kind of kick this off, because as we're talking about building memories and having those memories that we can last forever, sometimes you don't necessarily know that value of it, right? You're not sure how important it really is until it becomes a memory. And then you think back, wow, that was really fun, or yeesh, that was not a good memory that I didn't want to. Mostly we're going to talk about good memories, and creating those great memories, and how to kind of go about doing that, or some of the ways that you can do that. So yeah, Shane, what are your thoughts on creating memories with family, loved ones, those kinds of things?
I think first creating the memory is important, but I also think being able to make and then recall those happy memories is crucial for our well-being. The reason I say that is because we should focus on the good memories that we have, whether those be with ourselves or with those we love. That to me is not as important as recalling those memories that we have. We've talked about this a few times in podcasts, that our families went to Disneyland together, and we talk about that a lot because that was a great memory. Now, I would bet that there are some parts of that trip that you or your family members may recall a little bit differently than me or my family members or others who are with us. And that's okay, because the important things that we have in our memory are going to stick with us. And that doesn't mean that all of it was good and all of it was bad. It's simply saying that for us, we stick to the memory that we really grasp onto. And so I think not only is it important to make those memories, but it's really important to recall those. Now, again, we're going to focus on the positive memories that we have. That doesn't mean that we haven't had things that have happened in our lives that there are going to be things in our life that are bad, and memories that we wish we could eliminate. Those are going to be with us. But in my mind, we shouldn't focus on those things. We should keep bringing up and recalling those positive memories. I have a quote by Fearne Cotton. She's an English television and radio presenter, and I loved what she said. She says, "It takes one thought, 1 second, one moment or positive memory to act as a catalyst for the light to gradually seep in again." So see, I love the words that she says, because she's saying it just takes a second or a moment for the positive memory to be the catalyst for the light to come back into our life again. I think that's such an important word. It doesn't leave us. We just are welcoming it back in. And that's all I'm saying, is that when we recall these memories or bring them back up, the happy memories, that's all we're doing, is bringing that light back in. When I say, hey, remember that time we went to Disneyland? Your mind is going to go back to that time. Pins, we got pins, pins. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Because that's a great memory that we both have in our mind. Those of you who are with us, who are listening to this, know exactly what I'm talking about. And so that's really my point, is have great memories together or alone, and then recall those memories so that you can do like Fearne Cotton said, that you're inviting that light back into your life.
Yeah, I've often thought, okay, why do I remember certain things, right? And why do these particular memories come up, or why is that one in my memory? And so I wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit, and just kind of how those memories get placed into our brain and how we do that. And oftentimes it is associated with an emotion. So that's why a lot of times, if something bad happens, we recall those things and we're like, oh man, I wish I could just forget. Well, you can't, because you've associated that emotion with that particular thought, unless you were able to disconnect those two. But the emotions that we have are tied so strongly to those experiences that we have, that inside of that, our brain, our hippocampus, it saves those memories with that emotion. And then when we have those things come up again, or anything that would trigger that thought, that comes back to our amygdala, and boom, you instantly have that recollection of that event. That's why when we say that trip to Disneyland was so amazing, we've tied an emotion, excitement and enthusiasm and things like that to that particular event. So our brain, every time we get excited and think about going back to those places, we think of all the times that we spent there and those great memories, because we associated the emotion with that particular event. Some of you guys may be bored with that kind of information. Some of you guys may really pick up on it. I like that because I like to know how those memories are stored. So I know the next time, okay, maybe if I don't associate, an emotion with that particular memory, and then it's gone, or no, I really want to remember this particular event. So I'm going to put a little bit more emotion and heart, effort, love, whatever it is, into that event to make it more meaningful and lasting for me in the future.
So true. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was thinking, if we can tie in multiple senses to a memory or a moment that we're having, whether it be what we're tasting or smelling or seeing or hearing, if we can tie in multiple of those, we're going to be able to recreate that memory in our mind much easier. You can Google the capital of Turkey or the colors of the French flag, but you and I, and anybody who's hearing this, you can't Google the song that your mom sang to you when you were a little child when you were going to sleep, or you can't Google the smell of grandmother's cooking. You can't do that. You can bring that memory up in your mind. I can remember grandma making lamb for us and the taste that it is, because I loved being with her. I loved the taste of what she was making. Nobody can Google that, because that's in my mind. So my point is that the more senses you can tie into that memory, the better. So in this case of grandma cooking lamb, it's seeing what grandma's doing, tasting what grandma's doing, smelling even what grandma's doing, and so that is a good memory for me. Meik Wiking, so he spells his name Meik, but I think he's from the Netherlands or something like that. So he pronounces it Meik Wiking. In his book, The Art of Making Memories, which aims to boost the number of experiences we can turn into happy memories and teaches us how to remember them, he says this: happy memories form the cornerstone of our identity and can help with combating depression and loneliness. They influence our happiness in the current moment, as well as providing a framework for our hopes and dreams about the future. And I loved that in that book, he talks about making memories and how to do those things. And I haven't personally read it, but I just came across it. And I just love that he says, yeah, it's good to help us right now, but it's also providing that framework for the hope, which we love to talk about, and the dreams about our future. If we can help ourselves navigate through memories and create good memories, then I think will be so much better. And he says, this is somebody who actually studies happiness and those things for a living. He says, if you can do that, you can combat depression and loneliness. And I believe that, because if we're recreating those positive, happy memories in our lives, then I think those things will be less and less. Will like we talk about, pulling that energy, that positive energy into our lives, and becoming more happy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like that. And it brings me kind of to this simple but profound quote by one of Shane and I's, arguably our favorite actress, but it's Candace Cameron Bure, and we're hoping that at some point that we could have her on our show, which would be awesome. But she said this: the memories we make with our family is everything. And I can't argue that point. I mean, it's really true. When you are with your family making memories, that's the whole thing. We always try to do things to make more memories, create a lasting impression with our children that they can go on and share those memories with their family. So I have kind of a list of 11 things that you can do as a family to help create those memories. This is just 11 that I have. Shane probably could add on that and make it 22, but these are just 11 things that I thought of. So one, you could plant a family garden. That's always fun. We've done that as a family before. Two, plan a family vacation together. We love talking about vacations. I think that's a really good one. The third one, you could conduct a family interview. I don't know if you've ever done this before or not, but you could have your kids interview you and record it for your posterity. You could also interview your parents, grandparents, siblings, whatever, just to have those as a way to create that memory. You could plan a family photo shoot. We've done that in the past where we go out and have somebody take our pictures. And that's a fun experience and just an enjoyable time to be with your family and create that memory. 5 is cook and eat a family meal together. I mean, food always speaks to me. So when you're cooking and doing those things with your family, that's a great way to create a memory. You could take a family nature walk. We've done that before in the past, even around our neighborhood or up in the mountains, wherever it works for you, around the park close to your house, something like that. This one I thought was kind of a cool idea. I wish I could take credit for this one, but I can't on this one. But it's designate a family holiday. So what I mean by that is you could have make up a funny acronym like WASD, WASD, and I created this one. It was We Appreciate Shane Day. So it's like a funny little way to like create a family holiday to celebrate somebody in your family, to say, hey, we just appreciate Shane and what he does for our family and the love and the passion that he brings to life and all those kinds of things. Just celebrate that person, and not on their birthday, a different day altogether, and just have a fun way to do that. I thought that was a really cool idea, and I'll probably try to incorporate that with my family. Number 8 is have a family game night. We love playing games, so that's another fun way to do it. And again, it doesn't have to be board games. It could be card games or a silly game you make up, but just playing games together as a family. 9, have a family movie of the week. So we're going to sit down on Friday night and watch a cool show that we all want to watch as a family, Star Wars, whatever it is that you enjoy. 10, start a family book club. I thought that was kind of interesting to do that and just, hey, let's all read this book and then we'll get back together and talk about it. And then the last thing, and I know that Shane's family and my family have done this as well, is do a family art night. So where you just, okay, we're going to do a Bob Ross paint night and throw a bunch of paint on it and try to recreate his painting, which always turns out to be quite interesting. Mine never quite looked the same, but it's still fun. It's an enjoyable time. But that's 11 ways I think that you could incorporate into your family to create a great lasting memory night.
That's awesome. I was thinking as you were sharing those one thing that I heard from my sister-in-law and brother-in-law just recently that they're doing this year, because we love going on family vacations, but I've never thought outside the box in that they're taking each one of their children individually. So my sister-in-law is taking each of her daughters separately on a vacation wherever they wanted to go. My brother-in-law is taking his sons. And I thought, wow, that's a great idea. We haven't done that yet, so I don't have a memory of that, but we've talked about doing that. So I'll take our daughter somewhere she wants to go, and then my wife will take our son. We might go at the same time, but we might be in totally different places. I think that's such a great idea because you're making memories with each child individually and giving them that one-on-one time. I just thought that was so awesome. At some point in everybody's life, we're going to look back on memories and that we created, and a flood of emotions are going to just hit us, good or bad. Those memories are part of who we are. They've shaped us in, I think, more ways than I think we can say. And they make us, I think, better people if we're looking back on those. We have to be careful about, because I think, I don't know if there's a technical term for this, but as I was just thinking about it, I bet that we could change a memory to be something that really didn't happen. And there's probably a scientific term for it, but we have to be careful about that and not change a good memory into something that either didn't happen or a bad memory. So that, again, we've talked about tying into all of your of your senses, and if you do that, you're not likely going to be able to change that memory, because there's going to be multiple emotions and senses that are tied to that. I just want to caution all of us, including myself, to be careful about changing a memory and either making up something that never happened or changing it a little bit. Just be careful about those things, because again, like I said, our memories are part of who we are. They make us who we are. And we certainly don't want to change who we are by making a good memory into a bad one. And anyway, so I'm excited for the opportunity we might get this year to take each one of our children on a vacation wherever they want and make memories. And hopefully we'll be able to do that.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, Shane. And actually kind of went back to something that I was seeing. I was reading this book about kind of just creating memories and how your neuro pathways work and whatnot. And anyway, this person was sharing a story about an individual who was recalling 9/11 when that happened, right? And they said, "Oh, so what do you remember about 9/11?" He said, "Oh, I remember watching on TV that first day when the first plane crashed into the tower." And they said, actually, no video was made about the first plane crash until the following day. So he was thinking that actually happened and it didn't occur. So I would echo what Shane was saying in that, you can almost make up this memory of what you thought actually happened, but it really wasn't the way that it did. And so I would definitely caution you about that. But on the flip side of that, make those memories with your family, because that is what you're going to have. You're going to have these rich experiences, and it's really fun. Some of the funnest nights that we've had with our family is sitting around. Hey, you remember when our cousin so-and-so did this and that when we were younger, and that was super silly but super fun and entertaining, and just all the trips that we went on, right? Floating down rivers and doing various different activities and things like that. And those are great memories that we have. I'll never forget some of those, like when Mom was picking rocks out of your knee. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
When you crashed or whatever exactly happened. I'm not sure the whole circumstance, but I just remember her like picking rocks out of your knee with a pair of tweezers, and like, ew, that was, again, it was that emotion of like kind of, gross and a little disgusting, and that's why it stuck in my brain. But that whole time was fun, even though we had some of those memories that I can recall that weren't so great. But that's it. We just want you guys to create great memories with your family. Do whatever you want to do that makes it. Use some of the 11 things and be creative. Try something new that you haven't done before. I think that's one of the ways that can help create a great memory is do something that you don't normally do. If you don't normally do an art night, try it. Just have fun with it. Who cares what the picture looks like? Just enjoy that time and that opportunity with your kids. And then I have one last quote to finish off with. Cathy Allen, who's an author, she said this: life brings simple pleasures to us every day. It is up to us to make them wonderful memories. So there's always things that are going your way, right? There's all simple pleasures of life and just everyday living. And it is up to us, the actions that we decide to make those memories, to associate great experiences with that, to recall those memories later. And so that's my advice is go out, build memories, make them lasting and enjoyable, and then share those with Shane and I. We'd love to hear some of the memories that you guys have. You can send us an email at shane@sprinklewithhope.com or jason@sprinklewithhope.com. We would love to hear from you guys as our listeners to what are some of those things that you guys do as a family or even by yourself to create great memories.